The final debate. A much better battle. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now in this video I'm going to talk about the final presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Now before I get into it, please like and share this video to give it a boost. I think it's fair to say that this debate was much better than the first. I think everyone kind of has the same kind of feeling towards it. Trump was a lot more presidential. He was a lot more calmer in this debate than he was in the first one. And it showed. And to be honest though, I think he was more effective that way. In a more calmer approach. All Biden really needed to do for this debate is keep the same level as he had last time, and I think he did that. Although to be honest though, that's such a low level, that's not that difficult. Well, for most people anyway. He didn't gaffe too hard. He did gaffe sometimes, but not really that badly at all. I think the biggest part of this debate, I think a lot of people are kind of agreeing with, is that there was a lot more substance to it. And that really helped this debate in order to get the points across. I will also say this, the moderator was actually very good as well. I think the mute button for the mics was there, but I think it was more of a deterrent than anything else. I think it was used on Trump a couple of times, but that's because it's automatically triggered. But it was actually overridden by the moderator to let the debate happen, have a bit more flow to it, which I think worked out quite well. I think one of the first things to say is that Trump was much better on the area of the coronavirus in this debate than I think he has ever been in previous interviews and debates. He did make a great line. He said, "We have to live with it. We can't just lock ourselves up in the basement like Joe can." And that's a really good kind of point, but it's also a dig, if you know what I mean, because Joe Biden hasn't been campaigning. Now he's used the excuses he doesn't want to get coronavirus, excuse of being in the basement, but it's not a great way to campaign. Donald Trump has been out day after day after day, and it shows. The enthusiasm for Trump is huge. There's no enthusiasm at all for Biden. Now, Joe Biden has also said that he won't rule out another national lockdown. I don't think that helped him, because most of the American people want to get back to work. Also, I think it's fair to say that Trump framed his experience with coronavirus, because he has had it, quite well. He kind of gave a little bit on the experience of having it, but he also raised the point that he learned quite a bit about it because he had it. I think that will play well with quite a few people. On the topic of law and order, Trump was brutal towards Biden on this one. Particularly on crime in the black community. And Trump rightfully brought up the 1994 crime bill, which Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were both very strong supporters of, which targeted blacks disproportionately and unjustly. And at the time, Joe Biden called the black Americans, which he knew would be targeted disproportionately by the bill, as super predators. Biden also brought up the policy, trying to hang this on Trump, as a lot of Democrats have done throughout Trump's first term, where it was a policy where children were separated from the adults that they came across the border with, even though a third of those adults we know are not the parents, even though they claim to be. Trump actually responded very well to it by bringing up the fact that that was actually a policy from the Obama-Biden administration, which he just enforced, and actually he walked it back after he got the criticism for it. There's one topic we kind of have to talk about with this video, and it's Hunter Biden's emails. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of it, but I've seen some of the reports on it, and a lot of the contents of those emails are pretty damning. And it was a guarantee that Trump was going to bring it up. And Joe gave a very non-answer. And to be honest, he didn't even try to deny it, which is weird, because that's what he did in the first debate. He denied everything in the first debate. But Biden really made an unpopular move, I think, when he went after Rudy Giuliani, the man who exposed this information. He called him a Russian pawn, trying to add weight to the Democrat conspiracy theory, and that's pretty much what it is, that the emails were Russian disinformation. The FBI has already debunked that conspiracy theory, saying that the emails are authentic. And one thing that annoys me about the Democrats, and it'll always annoy me with this one, like they call people on the right conspiracy theorists, but they never come up with another country besides Russia to blame for things. I think one mistake that Biden made, I think he lost a couple of Obama voters in this debate, because one of Obama, well, pretty much the only thing that Obama really had as a strong legacy was Obamacare. But Joe wants to reform it and rename it Bidencare. So I think Obama himself put it very well. I think he put it best, actually. Never underestimate Biden's ability to fuck things up. So what are my thoughts on this? This was a far better debate than the first one. In the first one, Trump was overly aggressive, I think. In this one, he took a step back. He was still aggressive, but he wasn't nearly as aggressive. He was a lot more tactful, which I think works in his favour. Trump needed to do so much better in this debate, and he did. Biden needed to keep at the same level as he did in the first debate, and I think he did. I think the biggest thing about this debate is that I think a lot of people really like this debate over the first one because there was so much more substance in it. And the more substance there is to a debate, the more it'll get people thinking about who they should vote for. Who do I think won? I do think Trump won it. He made many more better points, I think. I actually think, I will say, that the mute button actually helped Trump. Because this meant that Biden didn't have to worry about the 2-minute rule in the first debate, because he knew Trump would interrupt him. Trump didn't interrupt him this time, so he had to talk for the full 2 minutes. And towards the end of each 2 minutes, he kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent on every time. But that's kind of the gaffes that he's known for. When he's let talk, he starts to mumble a bit. So I actually think the mute button was the Trump's advantage, even though I think it was supposed to be an advantage towards Biden. So what do you guys think? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them. If you liked this video, hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe to keep up with my latest videos. This was an interesting debate and it was much better than the fast. Did it change any minds? Maybe. We'll have to wait till the 3rd of November to know. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.